Watch as I hunt down abandoned cars, repair them from the ground up, and turn them into big profits. One chaotic day at Honest Motors. Can I keep up with the non-stop action? Welcome back to ECG, Easy Chill Gaming. The morning sun cast a hazy glow over the lot of Honest Motors, a sure sign of a long, hot summer day. It was Saturday and the shop was buzzing with the quiet hum of productivity. For me, that meant it was time for a critical parts run. My first task was to get the cars ready. On the lift sat an Apex Motor Striker for our mechanic Paul. What's that? Our rival's back? Whoa, buddy, you're early. But the Striker wasn't the only car in need. The lot was full of vehicles waiting for attention. A Harmonia Vehicles Largo and a red Off-Rider Canyon, both needing mechanical work, and another Harmonia for our body shop specialist, Bartek. Before heading out, I quickly checked the parts machine. It was still running strong, but our inventory was low on crucial components. Front and rear shock absorbers, suspension pins, and brake rotors were always a challenge to keep stocked. I made sure that I didn't have anything in my inventory as I set off to the parts store. The parts store hours are 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. This meant I had to move quickly. I grabbed armloads of brake calipers and rotors, 8 sets of shocks, and a handful of suspension pins, filling my inventory to the brim, before stowing the rest in the truck's trunk. I couldn't leave my staff just standing around doing nothing. On my way home from the parts store, I took a detour through a quiet alleyway where I spotted a promising prospect. It was a Harmonia Allegretto, a forgotten brown wagon, sitting abandoned beside a broken house. The town felt like it was swimming in thick haze, a familiar sight from my own summers back home. With a smooth turn, I hooked the wagon to the truck and continued my journey. Back at the garage, the parts machine dinged, signaling it was finished. I passed a cargo wise and rushed inside, a sense of controlled chaos taking over. I moved the fresh parts into storage and the bad ones into the machine, which would take a little over 6 minutes to process. In the meantime, I set Paul to work on the first vehicle. His salary was steep, $200, but his expertise and time was worth it. Bartek, who had almost forgotten, got his next assignment, a long list of repairs that would take him a good 4 minutes to complete. As Paul and Bartek worked, I emptied my truck, transferring the new parts to storage. The blue Harmonia was next for a tune-up from Paul, which would take him a little longer. Bartek had finished the body repairs on the other Harmonia Andante, so I unassigned him from work and drove the car over to the wash bay, where Karen stood in the middle, hidden behind a pillar. She'd been there for who knows how long. Unnoticed by me. Karen, what are you doing just standing there? My bad, I didn't even see you. Now let's get moving. Got a job for you. Clean up this Harmonia Andante. By noon, Paul had already finished repairs on 3 cars. The Apex Motor Striker, Harmonia Andante, and the Off-Rider Canyon. Paul, it's time to fix up this Harmonia Allegretto. Market value as is, worth $22,000 already. This car is going to be worth some money. 2 minutes, 22 seconds. I glanced at the repair machine humming in the corner of the storage room. Good thing I stuck around. If I'd have gone to the parts store, I wouldn't have made it back in time. We're running low on parts though. Lots of bad ones piling up. Let's stay on top of it. Now, restocked. The parts machine says 4.5 minutes to process. Not bad. plenty of time to hit the parts store and back if we need to. I hopped in the truck and drove over to the parts store. We're burning through supplies fast. There, in the distance, is the water tower. It's Garage Monkey's logo catching the light. First time I've seen that logo outside of the load-up screen. Yep, they're the heart of this operation. Developers of our own destiny. Now let's get back to the parts store before my shop falls apart. Arriving at the parts store, this one for license plates, I decided to buy 20 license plates. I know it's a bit overkill, but this will also future-proof me for now and the future cars I will buy and sell tomorrow on Sunday. Dodging traffic, an email pinged. This email, however, I'm sure is for a wrecked car. So I make my way over to the same spot as the day before. Karen is now finished with the truck. So I pull up my tablet while driving. Don't do this at home, kids. And I unassign her. I picked up another abandoned yet salvageable Harmonia. The thought of a tow truck crossed my mind as I passed what looked like an old junkyard. But for now, I was happy to haul one car at a time as I weaved through the back roads and the town streets back to the dealership. As I pulled back into the lot, I see that Paul has finished his task as well. I swing all the way behind his stall and get this beat-up Harmonia ready for him to work on. His pace is much faster than mine. I pulled the recently finished Harmonia Allegretto out of Paul's stall and swung it over to Bartek and assigned him the task of the bodywork. Then I pulled the wreck I just found in for Paul to start working on. Running around at a frantic pace, Karen had finished the black Harmonia. As I pulled it out of her stall, I checked to see what was left to do on this car. When the screen loads, nothing is left. It's ready for the lot. Now, I have 4 cars ready for sale, waiting only for me to take photos and list them online. The repair machine is a champ, constantly running through parts and making them new again. So I run over to the machine and get it ready to go once again. This time, all red parts. It will take 6.5 minutes to finish. As I was trying to add fuel to these cars from those cans in my inventory, I noticed this red canyon doesn't look right. So I pulled out my scanner and sure enough, I forgot to wash and wax this dirty old truck. I pulled the truck off the lot and back into the wash bay and reassigned Karen to do her job. As I fill up one more car, it turns out these fuel cans don't hold much fuel, and I might need to invest in the fuel house for our dealership soon, just to add a bit more value to my customers. By the time Karen had finished up the Off-Rider Canyon, Bartek had also finished up with the Harmonia Allegretto. So I pulled the car out of Karen's stall, and I pulled the next one in for her to start. Then I swapped the car from Paul's stall over to Bartek so they could get started on the bodywork. By 5 p.m., Honest Motors was a hive of activity. It was now time to take these pictures and list these cars online for sale. The Apex Motors is listed at $6,635. The Blue Harmonia is listed at $25,786. The Off-Rider Canyon is listed at $14,431. And finally, the Black Harmonia is listed at $38,089. The first car sold today was the Blue Harmonia. Market value, $19,388. But David here paid full asking price, $25,786. Thank you, David. The Black Harmonia, with a market value of $28,639, and with the offer of a candy being too sweet to pass up, Carol finally paid $33,191. The Apex Motor Striker with a value of $4,989, was next to go. Sold to Ralph with the encouragement of a cigarette for $5,882.
Alright, partner. That's the great price.
Last to go was the red Off-Rider Canyon, market value of $10,851, to Alan for the cigarette-encouraged price of $10,794.
Alright,
The first car I have sold below market value. The day stretched into the evening as I quickly ran over to the freshly finished Harmonia Allegretto in the wash bay. By the time I parked it on the lot, it was after 8 p.m. At least I'll have one ready for tomorrow. I pulled out my scanner and checked to make sure it was 100%. And good thing I did. I guess I have run behind on engines in my repair machine, and this one is only 78%. Time to get dirty and replace this one. I learned that I need to remove the manifold in order to swap out the engine and reassemble everything. The satisfaction of seeing the car's value skyrocket was immense. The parts machine is becoming more of a bother now than a blessing. It dings once again, begging for attention. I rush over to reload it with more red parts. 6.5 minutes once again. Another Harmonia Andante needed a full wash and wax. As I polished the black paint, it brought back a memory of a hot summer back home. A car that I'd left cookies inside just to see if the heat would bake them. The sweet smell lingered for weeks. After I'd finished the wash and wax on this car, fear struck me. Is this one 100%? I pulled out the scanner to check, and sure enough, it needed an engine just like the last one, and a manifold. I'm really falling behind on this parts machine and keeping up with the daily tasks. The garage is quiet. I sat at my desk reviewing potential new purchases for the morning, carefully choosing cars with the highest profit margins. With a budget of over $226,000, I certainly had my pick. First scheduled is a Harmonia, listed at $12,200. Second, a brown Phantom Gale, listed at $10,450. Third, a CargoWise P3, listed at $34,050. Fourth, an orange Phantom Gale, listed at $11,200. Fifth, a Zen Motors Journey, listed at $28,200. And last, a brown CargoWise P3 listed at $30,150. I shut down the shop lights, the lot quiet under the glow of street lamps. Another long day in the books, and tomorrow already promised to be even bigger. More cars, more chaos, more chances to grow Honest Motors into something legendary. If you've made it this far, thanks for sticking with me through the grind. Don't forget to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next crazy day here at Honest Motors. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.